today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the Diamond Select, the Lord of the Rings 7-inch scale deluxe action figure of Legolas. And here we have the figure standing straight out of the box without any crazy poses or accessories. My first impressions, Diamond Select again did a really nice job on the sculpting and the paint applications. In some areas they didn't, in my opinion. He seems a bit too slim around the waist area. I know that elves are a bit on the taller and slimmer side, but he just feels a bit too slim to me, you know, around the waist. You'll see. And one thing that I was kind of worried about is that, you know, when you do characters with really long hair, sometimes the hair is made out of a really hard plastic, so it hinders the articulation of the head. Legolas doesn't really suffer from that. Just a little bit. I'll show you that in the articulation part. Another problem that I have is the certain lack of accessories. Again, I'll show you that in the accessories part. There's some components that really should have come with Legolas. One thing that I noticed around this new Diamond Select Lord of the Rings line is that they were supposed to come with the Lothlorien cloaks. They even advertised them at an event. All of the figures were wearing the cloaks that were given to them by the elves. And I suppose they had to strip that away because it would have been too much plastic. I'm not sure, but so yeah, let's get into the accessories part. Here you can see every accessory that he comes with. And as you can see, he doesn't come with his famous daggers. That is kind of a problem. I'll talk about it in a bit. First of all, let's take a look at this glorious bow that he comes with. I believe this is the bow that he gets from Lady Galadriel. I'm pretty sure. Look at the I really like the golden details on the bow. This is a very nicely sculpted bow. The color that they chose is really nice. It really looks like it's made out of wood. And this is, as you can see, it's an actual bit of string, so you could maybe pose him with a drawn bow, but I wouldn't really suggest pulling this string too far because it's gonna put too much pressure and it might just snap or something. But it's good enough. It's a really nice bow. And now let's take a look at this. He comes with 3 arrows. All of them are the same, so let's just take a look at one. Nice silver elven arrowhead. Nothing too special. As you can see, all 3 of them are the same. And yeah, one thing that is bothering me is that, as you can see, he actually has a holster for the daggers, but he doesn't come with the daggers. And I believe there will be a deluxe Gollum figure later on that will come with bonus accessories for every figure from the entire Lord of the Rings wave. I think that's kind of cheap, in my opinion. They really should. And they botched us from the Lothlorien cloaks, so they really should have given us at least the daggers on Legolas. But I digress, so let's get into the details of the figure. So now let's get into the details of the figure, starting from top to bottom. Starting with the likeness, the head sculpt, if my camera could focus. The likeness to Orlando Bloom on this figure, I think, just varies from the lighting and the angle you're looking at it from, basically. He doesn't actually look bad under certain lighting. Like, I'm having my lamp focused on him right now, so as you can see, he looks pretty rough because it brings out all the... I think the paint application, this skin tone that they chose really botched the head sculpt. There's like some weird, almost like he was in a brawl or something, or he was in a fist fight maybe, and he got some bruises like around his eyes, around the nose. He looks rough. But in natural lighting and from a certain angle, like from here, you can see the likeness. The sculpt is there, but the skin tone and kind of body. And one thing is that I think his forehead is a bit too large. It's just, you know, maybe the hairline should start from like here instead of back here. And the eyebrows are also a bit off. I think he had some, maybe if you paint these, was his eyebrows? I believe in the Hobbit movies, they were actually black, you know. And here it looks like he has, you know, blondish eyebrows. And they actually did the elvish ear nicely. That does look like an elf ear. And the hair, as I've said before, it's soft rubber, so it's not gonna get in the way. I'll show that in the articulation part, but it has a nice wash over it. It's a nice hair. Here you can see the quiver that holds the arrows. I'll actually show you that. As you can see, he can hold all 3 arrows if he wants to. Well, here we have the dagger holsters, and he doesn't come with them. And yeah, I think the deluxe golem figure will come with the daggers. That kind of bothers me, not gonna lie. The rest of his outfit is nice, but I think the brown parts should have been given an additional black wash, because then it would have really popped all the details that they've put in the, look at these like kind of elven engravings on the, what is this, like a vest? And it doesn't really feel, it doesn't look like leather. With an additional wash, it would have looked more like leather, in my opinion. Van braces are nice, but again, I don't know, his skin looks almost burned. Like, the skin tone is really weird. Look, that's really rough. He looks like he has blisters and just damage all over his body. There's some nice elven engravings on the sash as well. I don't know if you can see that. And there's some, even here there's a weird black dot. I don't know, and there's some brown here. Again, there's some black spots here, around here. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but kind of bothers me. And this skirt is actually really hard, so I'm thinking it's gonna hinder the articulation. The back part not so much, but the front is really, really hard. The boots are nice. Again, it has elven engravings on it, but it's kind of plain though. Trousers, you can always use some wash over yourself with some paint, but it's kind of weird that you have to do it yourself nowadays, because they don't bother doing it. As you can see on the back, he also has the elven engravings all over the clothing, which is pretty nice. So now let's get into the articulation part. Articulation wise, mind that this is my personal copy of the figure, so I might be a bit more careful with it. Starting from head to bottom. As you can see in this lighting, I don't have my lamp on as of now, and the head sculpt is way better. The likeness is better, but again, I think he should have a bit thicker blackish eyebrows. And the skin tone is, oh, I went over that already. I'm not gonna talk anymore. So head is on a ball joint. There might be a hinge, but if there is, it's very well hidden. I don't think there is actually, so he can look down this much. That's very nice. And the hair, well, yeah, he cannot, this is as far as he can look up. And he can move his head to the right this much, move it to the left this much. So yeah, you cannot move to the right very much because the holster that holds the quiver hinders it. Then the arms are on a hinge. You know, he can rotate it. Goes out this much, which is very nice. He can basically pull off a T-pose. Yeah, it's very nice to just assert some dominance over the other elves or Gimli. He does have a not a bicep swivel, but like an elbow swivel. Single joint, goes almost 90 degrees. The left hand, horizontal hinge and swivel. And the left hand is especially designed so it can hold arrows. I'll actually show that to you. You want to take this little end part and just kind of wedge it in here. And then you can pull off a, you know, shooting pose if you want. You could also do, maybe he's holding it like this. Oh, that's not really realistic, is it? But you can do this as well. Or, well, you know, this hand is too loose. He will not hold an arrow. And the left hand, I believe, is also, yeah, it's also horizontal hinge and a swivel. And this hand is designed to hold the bow, but the diamond select hands are really hard. You have to kind of pry it open, then put it in there before it bunches up again, and boom, there you have it. Legolas with his bow. It's pretty good. The torso, he does have a ball joint on the upper chest, which he cannot hula hop whatsoever. Forward, barely anything, and back, barely anything. I don't know why. I don't know why they bothered putting it here, because it does basically nothing. There's no swivel on the torso. The legs, he cannot do Antonio Banderas. Or was it Jean-Claude Van Damme? I always forget that. Was it Antonio Banderas or Jean-Claude Van Damme who did that advertising with the full-on split between two trucks? Now I have some conniptions about myself. You can move it back this much. The knees. Wow, that's rough. I mean, for an elf who should be very much able to do some parkour and everything, which he did in the movies. There's barely an articulation here. Move the legs forward this much. Ankles. That's very nice. Not like you're going to use it, because this is unrealistic. It's very unhealthy. Ankle moves forward this much, and there's an ankle pivot for a rocker. So now let's get into the size and comparisons. And size-wise, Legolas seems to be standing at approximately 18 centimeters to the top of his head, which in inches is, I believe, 7.08 inches. Well, let's just say it's 7 inches approximately in height. Here he is next to the Diamond Select Gimli that we have recently taken a look at on the channel. And as you can see, I think that's a pretty good scale. I think that's movie accurate. They look very good together. Here he is, standing next to the Diamond Select Disney Store exclusive Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. I just put them next to each other because they're both kind of rangers, you know. I think they actually go well together with almost a matching blue. Almost. It's very nice. They are both 7-inch scale, so they're about the same height. Here he's standing next to a 6-inch scale figure. This one in particular being the Star Wars The Black Series Stormtrooper, the new one that we had a look at on the channel as well, if you want to check that out. And as always, here you have him standing next to a can of Coca-Cola. And my final thoughts on the figure. Even though he lacks a bit in terms of articulation and accessories, as I've said, the likeness in this sort of side angle and in this lighting, it is there. And the sculpting is, again, it's pretty much there. Paint applications, somewhat there. I think this is this is still a really good figure representation of Legolas if you want some Lord of the Rings action on your shelf, especially if you combine him with the other Diamond Select Lord of the Rings figures that have come out. He's gonna look really cool standing next to them on the shelf. And maybe if you buy the deluxe Golem figure, you'll just have, you know, the daggers for Legolas as well. Even though it's kind of sad that you have to buy Golem, if you still want to buy Golem, it's kind of a bonus for you. Boom, you have Legolas's daggers. And if you want, you can always just make a custom-made Lothlorien cloak, I guess. It's not that hard. You just take some kind of... What color were they? I think in the movies they were kind of dark green, but in the books they were more gray. You know, just take either some gray or dark green fabric and just cut out a... You can look up a template online or something for a cape, put it around his neck, and boom, you have a Lothlorien cloak as well. So overall, I think this is a pretty nice figure for the retail price that this guy came out. So this is my review of the Diamond Select Lord of the Rings Legolas. If you liked the video, consider leaving a like. If you didn't like the video, consider leaving a dislike. That's an option for you as well. And if you think I missed anything or you just have an opinion on this review, leave your thoughts on the comments below. This was me, the Collector, and I'll see you later.